Aaliyah Park stepped off the rickety shuttle and into the hum of Helix Point. The station hung alone in the dark expanse, its lights pulsing like distant stars. Metal walkways curved above her head, and soft glow panels lined the walls. Aaliyah paused to take it in. She was here as a linguistic specialist, sent to greet the first envoy from the Serene Collective. Her heart fluttered with both pride and nerves. Through the docking bay's wide viewport, she saw the alien ship glide in. Its hull was smooth and pale, with lines that shimmered in shifting light. A small boarding ramp extended, and out of it stepped Naira. She was slight and graceful, her skin a gentle green that caught the glow as if it held secret light within. Naira's large eyes, dark and curious, swept the crowd before they settled on Aaliyah. Aaliyah raised her hand in greeting. She wore a simple navy uniform, the symbol of the United Earth Directorate stitched over her chest. "Welcome to Helix Point," she said. Her voice echoed in the bay, soft but clear. Naira gave a small bow and replied in perfect common, "Thank you. I am honored." The easy flow of her words surprised Aaliyah. Serene diplomats were known for their measured speech, yet Naira spoke without hesitation. A hush fell over the assembled humans and aliens watching the arrival. Many had come hoping to see the famous Serene tact whose wisdom had shaped alliances across half the galaxy. Yet young Naira looked at Aaliyah with fresh wonder, like a child peering at a strange new toy. Aaliyah felt her own surprise turn into a warm smile. She gestured toward the station corridor. "Please follow me. I will show you to the council chamber." Naira nodded and linked her arm lightly through Aaliyah's. The movement felt almost shy, but also full of trust. They walked under arched lights and through doors that hissed open at their approach. Aaliyah kept her tone light, pointing out simple sights. The hydroponic garden where lettuce and grapes grew in low gravity, the hollow map of nearby star systems, the recycling units that turned waste into fresh air. Naira listened intently, occasionally tilting her head or arching her slender brow. When she asked a question, her voice held genuine excitement. Aaliyah answered each one with care. At the door to the council chamber, Naira paused. She looked back at Aaliyah with a curious tilt of her head. "Tell me, Aaliyah Park," she said, her voice soft. "Do humans roast their enemies?" The question hung in the cool air. Aaliyah stiffened. Around them, staff and guards froze in place. A murmur rose. Was this a threat? Did Naira seek to know? If humans cooked captives over a fire? Aaliyah blinked. She kept her face calm even as her mind raced. She had studied Serene culture. They had no word for insult or humor in conflict. They believed that words held power and should never wound. So, why ask about roasting enemies? She chose her reply carefully. "Roast can mean two things," she said. Her voice was steady. "One meaning is to cook food over heat. The other is to play with words. Friendly teasing, joking insults shared among willing friends." Naira's large eyes widened. She looked down at her elegant hands, imagining them holding a glowing spit. "You cook your enemies?" she whispered half to herself. Aaliyah shook her head gently. "No, humans do not cook enemies. That was just one meaning of the word. The other meaning is an art form of humor. We call it a roast when friends agree to tease each other in good fun." Naira exhaled, relief and curiosity mingling in her gaze. She seemed to relax, the tension leaving her slim shoulders. "Humor," she repeated. "We have debate, we have ceremony, but we do not laugh at rivals." She smiled a delicate smile, and Aaliyah realized how earnest Naira truly was. Aaliyah reached out and offered her hand. "Would you like to see how a roast works?" she asked. Naira considered for a moment, then took Aaliyah's hand. "Yes," she said. "I wish to learn your ways." As the council chamber doors opened, Aaliyah led the way forward. Behind them, Helix Point's lights glowed brighter, as if the station itself welcomed this new bond. In that moment, two very different peoples took their first step toward understanding, united by a single hopeful question about friendship, humor, and the strange power of words. Aaliyah led Nera down a quiet corridor toward the station's hollow tea lounge. Soft lights glowed along the walls, and the faint scent of spiced mint drifted through the air. Aaliyah tapped a panel beside the door, and it slid open with a gentle hiss. Inside, cushions and low tables were arranged around a circular hollow projector. A few crew members sipped tea and studied star charts, but most seats were empty. Aaliyah guided Nera to a table near the projector. "Please sit," she said, gesturing to the cushions. Nera eased herself down, her long legs folding beneath her. Aaliyah activated the projector. A small flame of pure light hovered above the table. Its color shifted from gold to amber, and tiny motes of light drifted like fireflies. Aaliyah poured steaming tea into 2 transparent cups. The liquid glowed faintly green. "This is jasmine tea with mint," she explained. "A favorite on Helix Point." Nera inhaled the aroma, her eyes shining. She lifted her cup and took a small sip. "Delicate," she murmured. "Warmer than I expected." Aaliyah smiled. "It soothes the mind," she said. "Here, we take time to relax between duties." She set her cup down and took a breath. Then she spoke more seriously. "I want to explain the 2 senses of roast. One is cooking over fire, the other is a human art of humor." Nera's brow furrowed. She tilted her head, studying Aaliyah's face. "Cooking enemies would be barbaric," Nera said softly. "But humor? You roast friends?" Aaliyah nodded. "Yes. A roast is when we make jokes about someone we respect. We poke fun at their quirks, but with their permission. It is meant to bring laughter, not pain." Nera's eyes widened and she leaned forward. "Permission?" Aaliyah took a slow sip of tea. "Always permission first," she replied. "A roast at a friend's birthday party is fine because the guest of honor agrees. But if you roast someone who does not want it, it can cause hurt feelings." She tapped the hollow flame. "We choose our targets carefully. We set rules, and the person being roasted can stop it at any time." Nera studied the dancing light. "My people use debate," she said. "We present data. We show facts. We let reason win." She paused, looking to Aaliyah. "We see humor as frivolous. Words are sacred. To mock a rival would dishonor both." Aaliyah nodded thoughtfully. "I understand," she said. "But we believe laughter can unite us. When a friend roasts you, you show you can laugh at yourself. This bond makes trust stronger." She gestured at the empty seats. "Would you like to try a small roast exercise? Only if you are comfortable." Nera hesitated. Then she smiled. "I wish to learn," she said. "But carefully. Teach me the bounds of your humor." Aaliyah's face brightened. She stood and tapped the projector. The hollow flame faded, and a new image appeared. 2 human comedians on a stage facing each other under spotlights. The projector filled the lounge with soft applause and laughter. Aaliyah pressed a control and subtitles appeared below the performers' mouths. "These 2 are friends," Aaliyah said as the hologram played. "They have known each other for years. Now they roast each other on live hollow stream. The comedians traded one-liners, teasing about a friend's old uniform, joking about a pilot's love of coffee, playful digs at an officer's taste in music. Each joke ended with laughter and pats on the back. Nera watched with rapt attention. Her dark eyes followed every gesture. The first comedian said, "Captain Ree, I see you still polish your boots at midnight. Does your ship run on shine?" The audience laughed. The second comedian grinned and replied, "I'd say your singing on the bridge could power a small moon, but I admire your confidence." More laughter. When the clip ended, the lounge was quiet again. Nera turned to Aaliyah, her skin softly glowing in the hollow light. "They tease each other," she said slowly, "but I sense respect." Aaliyah nodded. "Yes. They know each other well. They choose jokes that do not cut too deep, and they never attack personal pain. Always a shared joke, never a secret wound." Nera considered this and then looked down. "We settle disputes with logic. We win by facts." She looked back up. but I see the value of laughter. It could heal wounds left by conflict. Aaliyah reached out and placed a hand on Nayra's forearm. The touch was gentle. It does more than heal. It builds connections. I think your diplomats will learn much from this. Nayra's lips curved in a small, sincere smile. Then teach me more, she said. Teach me the rules of your roast. I wish to bring laughter to my people. Aaliyah's heart lifted at Nayra's eagerness. She settled back onto her cushion. Then let us begin, she said. Beyond the lounge's windows, Helix Point's lights glowed against the starfield. Inside, amid soft tea and hollow lights, two cultures reached out across their differences and discovered that humor, when guided by respect, could become a bridge between worlds. Aaliyah led Nayra through winding corridors toward the station's hollow theater. Soft lights guided their steps, and the air hummed with distant engines. Around them, crew members hurried past with datapads in hand. They reached a broad door marked Hollow Theater A. Aaliyah tapped a panel, and the door slid open to reveal tiered seating and a large curved screen. Rows of plush chairs faced the stage, where hollow projectors waited beneath dim spotlights. A few humans nibbled popcorn made of floating kernels that danced in zero-G. Others sipped sweet fruit juice from glowing cups. The whole hall felt alive with quiet chatter and anticipation. Nayra's green skin shimmered under the soft lights as she took in the scene. Aaliyah guided her to two seats near the cine. This is where we watch roast battles, she said, her voice low. People come from all over Helix Point to see friends tease friends, and to laugh together. Nayra's dark eyes widened. Tease friends? She whispered. Aaliyah nodded and pointed at the stage controls. I'll pause the holo when you have questions. On stage, a human comedian stepped into a spotlight. He bowed to the audience and began in a clear, friendly tone. His name, Jax Marlowe, glowed above, him in hollow letters. Across from him, Lena Cho appeared with a grin. She waved at the crowd. Aaliyah leaned close. They are old friends. Tonight they roast each other. They prepare jokes in advance but also improvise. The show began. Jax looked at Lena and said, Lena, you still call your ship the Feather, but with all that cargo, it flies like a brick. Are you sure you didn't name it after your fashion sense? The audience laughed and cheered. Even Nayra giggled softly, though she did not yet grasp every word. Aaliyah whispered, he poked fun at her ship and her style. Two harmless things. Then Lena replied. She tapped her chin and said, Jax, I saw you piloting the cargo run yesterday. You wore socks with sandals. I thought you were trying to start a new human ritual, the comfy flip. The crowd roared with laughter. Nayra's cheeks glowed. She nudged Aaliyah. They laugh at small faults. These words are light. Aaliyah smiled. Yes. They never attack family or a secret they cannot share. They only tease things the other person can own with pride. She paused the holo. The stage froze mid-performance. Aaliyah pointed at Jax's frozen frame. See his expression? It is playful, no anger. And look at Lena's eyes. She listens, then responds in the same spirit. Nayra studied the paused image. I see respect, she said. Aaliyah pressed the control again, and the show resumed. Jax winked at Lena and said, Last time you tried to serenade the crew with your singing, the alarms went off. I thought the station was under attack. Lena threw up her hands. Better a false alarm than your socks causing structural damage. Laughter filled the room. As the show went on, Aaliyah pointed out other features. Notice the timing. They pause for laughter. They never rush. And they make eye contact. That shows they are connected. Nayra nodded, her head tilting in fascination. Each joke landed with a ripple of applause. The holo projected floating applause lines above the stage, like sound waves made visible. After a few more rounds, the host called a brief intermission. Bright lights returned and the audience stood to stretch. Aaliyah and Nayra climbed down to a small refreshment stall. Aaliyah offered Nayra a basket of glowing snack puffs, Nera accepted one and tasted it. Delightful, she said. May I ask? More, Aaliyah gestured to a quiet corner. Of course. They sat on a curved bench. The rules of a roast are simple, Aaliyah began. First, both people must agree to the roast. Second, don't attack something the other person cannot change or does not willingly share. Third, no insults about loved ones. And finally, end. Each joke with a smile or gesture that shows you mean no harm. Nera repeated each rule softly. Agree. No secret wounds. No family. Show goodwill. Aaliyah nodded. Exactly. It takes practice. She patted Nera's hand. If it goes well, people leave feeling closer, even stronger friends. Nera's dark eyes brightened. This could help my envoys. We face tensions with cold logic. But humor could break ice. Aaliyah smiled warmly. I believe it will. They rose and returned to their seats just as the host called the audience back. On stage, Jax and Lena resumed with final jokes. Jax teased Lena's hollow garden that always wilted. Lena shot back about Jax's refusal to share snacks. Each line built on the last until the crowd cheered in approval. The show ended with both friends hugging and waving. As the lights came up, Nera stood slowly, clapping. I understand now, she said to Aaliyah. A roast is not battle. It is a dance of words, a way to show care. Aaliyah placed her arm around Nera's shoulders. Well said. Together they left the Hollow Theater, the echoes of laughter still ringing. Nera looked ahead with thoughtful eyes. I wish to try one line, she said quietly. Aaliyah grinned. Then I will help you craft it. Beyond the doors, Helix Point's corridors glowed softly. Inside Nera's mind, a new kind of diplomacy was taking shape, one built on wit, respect, and the shared joy of a well-placed joke. Aaliyah's comlink buzzed with urgent news just as she and Nera finished their Hollow Theater exercise. A nearby cargo freighter, the Asimov's Grace, had sent a distress signal. Pirate vessels were closing in, demanding surrender. The freighter carried vital medical supplies bound for the frontier colonies. Without pause, Aaliyah tapped her wrist. Console. We must help, she told Nera, who stood at the holoscreen, still holding her practice notes. Nera's dark eyes flashed with concern. What can I do? She asked. Aaliyah met her gaze. You have learned the art of the roast. Perhaps you can stop them without violence. Nera's brow furrowed. Use humor against pirates, she repeated. Aaliyah nodded. They are known for fierce pride. If we can surprise them with a good-natured roast, they might hesitate. She guided Nera to a secure briefing room. The wall, a star chart, showed 3 fast-moving blips converging on the Asimov's Grace. Inside the room, 2 senior officers stood by a holomap table. Commander Ibarra, tall and gray-haired, tapped the freighter icon. Pirates will board in minutes. Our fighters are 5 minutes out. We can't defend the ship in time. He looked to Aaliyah. Your idea? Aaliyah cleared her throat. Nera has trained in human roast techniques. We propose a comms broadcast. Nera will deliver a short, playful roast aimed at the pirate captain. It may stall them. The officers exchanged doubtful looks. Captain Morales, younger and more open, shrugged. Worth a try? Nera swallowed. She stepped forward. I will try, she said with quiet strength. Aaliyah handed her a data pad. Here are the rules, she reminded Nera softly. Get permission to speak. Target only harmless quirks. End with goodwill. Nera nodded, memorizing each point. Moments later, the communications bay hummed. A holoscreen flickered on, showing the pirate leader's emblem, a skull with crossed plasma pistols. Behind it, dark shapes crowded the pirate bridge. Aaliyah gave Nera an encouraging smile. Go at your pace. Nera took a deep breath and spoke into the mic. Greetings, Captain. Scarlaw, she began, voice steady. I see your ships cut through space like angry sharks chasing a wounded fish. On the pirate bridge, a gruff murmur rose. Nera pressed on. But I wonder, do you pick those plasma pistols to match your fashion sense? I have never seen armor shine so bright. A stunned silence followed. Then one pirate laughed. A low, rough sound. Nayra let a small smile creep onto her face. Perhaps your weapons make up for your choice in spaceship paint. But I admire bold colors. You must like to stand out. Aaliyah watched the holo feed. The pirate captain leaned forward, his broad shoulders shaking. A ripple of chuckles spread among the crew. Nayra pressed her advantage. And tell me, Captain, when you boarded the Asimov's Grace, did you hope for a hearty duel? Or did you just want snacks from their frozen rations? This drew louder laughter. Even the captain grinned, showing a missing tooth. Nayra saw her chance. In my culture, we settle with data duels. But you humans, and Serene, use fire. You choose speeches. I admire that bravery. She paused, voice warm. I come in peace. Release the ship, and I will send you genuine treats from our kitchen, tea, pastries, and no insults. On the pirate bridge, a burly officer slapped the console. I like this one, he growled, still smiling. The captain leaned back, stroking his beard. After a moment, he nodded. Tell your serene diplomat she has guts. We will let the cargo go. He turned off the holo feed. A cheer rose in the communications bay. Aaliyah breathed out in relief and turned to Nayra, whose fingers trembled slightly. You did it, Aaliyah whispered. Nayra's unusual green cheeks warmed with pride. I honored my people's rules and they laughed. Moments later, the freighter's crew reported their safety. The pirates withdrew, leaving the Asimov's Grace free to continue its journey. As Aaliyah and Nayra walked back through the station corridors, Aaliyah placed a hand on Nayra's shoulder. You showed strength and kindness, she said softly. Nayra smiled, her large eyes shining. Words can heal as well as weapons can harm, she replied. Aaliyah nodded. And humor, when guided by respect, can change hearts. In the calm that followed the crisis, Helix Point's corridors felt brighter, as if the station itself celebrated this victory of wit over war. Two very different cultures had joined forces, and learned that sometimes the sharpest weapon is a well-placed joke. Word of Nayra's daring roast diplomacy spread across Helix Point like a spark in dry grass. Messages pinged in every office. Pirates laughed, freighter freed. Holo terminals replayed Nayra's playful jabs at Captain Scarlaw, and crew members shared memes of pirates smiling. Even Aaliyah's superiors tapped her comlink, asking for a full report. Then came the unexpected challenge. A message from the Korvathi Union arrived via secure channel. The Korvathi were a stern alien faction, proud of their traditions and mastery of logic. They had watched Helix Point's experiment with amusement and disapproval. Now they demanded a formal word duel against the Serene Collective and their human allies. The holoscreen in the council chamber glowed with the Korvathi seal, a pair of crossed data tomes. Commander Ibarra moved to the center and cleared his throat. They pose an insult contest, he said, voice grave. If we refuse, they claim we lack courage. If we accept, we face their finest rhetoricians. Nayra looked from Ibarra to Aaliyah, worry in her large eyes. Their words cut deeper than jokes, she whispered. Korvathi never smile. Aaliyah laid a comforting hand on Nayra's arm. We will prepare, she said. We know their rules, no personal attacks, no dishonoring traditions, and no lies. We have our roast code. Respect first. The council agreed to hold the duel in 2 days. News feeds from Helix Point to Serene Homeworld lit up with excitement and doubt. Some wondered if humor could stand against razor-sharp logic. Others cheered the chance to show Korvathi that laughter could be as powerful as reason. Aaliyah and Nayra spent the next hours in a training room lined with holoscreens. Around them gathered a small team. A human comedian named Jax Marlowe, a serene linguist called Varek, and 2 officers skilled in diplomacy. On the central holoscreen, Aaliyah loaded footage of human roast battles and serene practice clips. Remember, the rules, Aaliyah began. She tapped her holopen and a list appeared. Consent. Both sides agreed to the duel. Harmless targets. Tease quirks, not sacred beliefs or families. Goodwill endings. Each joke must close with respect. Timing. Allow for applause and reaction. Vorik adjusted his robes and nodded. Korvathi tradition values honor. We must never imply they lie or cheat. We can joke about their formality or love of data, but only to show friendly regard. Jax grinned. I can help craft some gentle jabs, but I need subjects. He turned to the officers. What daily habits do our Korvathi guests have? Lieutenant Chen spoke up. They arrive 3 hours early for any meeting. They stack their data slates in perfect order. They speak in measured tones. Jax rubbed his chin. Perfect, we'll call out the punctuality. How early is too early? And the neat slates. They must wonder if we humans will ever find the right file if we toss ours around. Nera watched her teammates brainstorm. She felt both excitement and nerves. Aaliyah touched her shoulder. Your turn, Aaliyah said softly. You will open our side of the duel. Nera's breath caught. I will try, she said. Aaliyah offered a warm smile. We'll prepare your lines together. They spent hours crafting jest lines, short, playful insults, and response lines to answer Korvathi jokes. Aaliyah reminded them, always end with a nod to friendship. For example, after teasing their neat slates, say, but I admire how you prepare. Your files must never get lost. By midnight, the small team practiced in front of a hollow mirror. Jax delivered the mock opening. Honored Korvathi, I see your slates gleam so bright I thought we invited a mirror factory. He paused for laughter and then added, but thanks to your order, I no longer fear a missing file. The team broke into smiles. Nera's turn came. She cleared her throat and spoke into the hollow mic. Respected Korvathi elders, when you arrive 3 hours early, time itself bows before you. She paused, heart pounding. I must admit, I never thought humans could learn patience until we tried matching your schedule. She ended with a gentle bow gesture in the hollow mirror. Aaliyah beamed. Perfect timing, Nera. You paused, let it land, and then showed respect. Vorik chimed in. We will honor Korvathi tradition and show we understand their ways. The next day, Helix Point's grand amphitheater filled with dignitaries, humans, serene, Korvathi, and curious onlookers. A wide holoscreen displayed the duel rules. At exactly 14 high station time, the moderators called the event to order. Nera, in gleaming serene robes, stepped to the podium. Aaliyah, Jax, and Varric stood behind her. Nera spoke clearly. Honored Korvathi delegates, we greet you with gratitude for this duel of words. She delivered her opening jest line, perfectly timed. The Korvathi delegates looked at each other, impressed. A ripple of polite applause followed. Across the stage, Korvathi speaker Mavrek rose. His voice was deep and calm. He offered their first jab. Serene guests and humans both stand before time itself, yet only you rush to fill every minute with rest. He paused, then added, perhaps you fear silence more than data. Aaliyah nodded in appreciation. When Mavrek finished, she stepped forward. Silence has its merits, she replied with a smile. But laughter shows life. We humans believe a silent ship makes no friends. Gentle laughter swept through the crowd. The duel continued with carefully chosen barbs and respectful comebacks. Each side honored the rules. When the final exchange ended, laughter and applause filled the amphitheater. Even the stoic Korvathi delegates smiled. As the moderators declared the duel a tie, friendship won over point counting, Aaliyah and Nera embraced. Around them, new bonds formed. Korvathi and Serene envoys chatted about daily routines, took selfies, and compared holoslate organization tips. In the days that followed, the Korvathi formally invited Helix Point to share a peace banquet. No roasted enemies, only roasted vegetables and shared laughter. Nera turned to Aaliyah beneath the amphitheater's glow. We have shown that humor can stand beside logic, she said softly. Aaliyah smiled and replied, and together, they can build a stronger galaxy. At precisely 14 Mars station time, the great amphitheater on Helix Point fell silent. Tall columns of white metal rose on either side of the stage, and a soft blue light bathed the audience. Rows of seats curved around the circular stage, filled with humans, Serene, Korvathi, and other curious onlookers. High above, a domed skylight revealed the stars beyond. On stage, two clear podiums faced each other. Behind, one stood Nera, dressed in her serene diplomat robes, the fabric shifting between green and silver. Behind the other stood Korvathi speaker Mavrek, his dark armor gleaming. To their sides, Aaliyah Park and Jax Marlowe prepared as backup speakers. A moderator's voice echoed through the hall. "Welcome to the Grand Roast Duel. Remember, each side will deliver 5 jests and 5 responses. Let friendship guide your words." Nera stepped forward, her posture straight. She inhaled and spoke into the mic. "Respected Korvathi delegates, we honor your logic and your punctuality. You arrive so early even the sun must slow down to wait." A ripple of laughter ran through the crowd, gentle but warm. Nera paused, letting the words settle, then bowed her head slightly in respect. Mavrek nodded once, his expression unreadable. He advanced to his podium. "Esteemed Serene and human friends, your laughter rings like broken data. You laugh at our neat slates, but tell me, how many files have you lost in your careless haste?" His tone was calm, and a few audience members chuckled at the image of misplaced files. Aaliyah turned to Jax, who whispered a quick note on the timing. Then she stepped forward. "Speaker Mavrek speaks of haste, yet I have seen humans run late, just to honor your early arrival," she said. The audience laughed again, impressed by the playful twist. Aaliyah ended with a graceful nod. Jax took his turn for the second jest. He cleared his throat and said, "Korvathi friends, your data archives are so vast that a single word can hide in them for centuries. If knowledge is power, your quiet halls must be full of thunder." The witty line drew hearty applause, even from stern Korvathi faces. Mavrek smiled faintly. "Thunder may be loud," he replied, "but a calm storm holds greater force. Your chests echo, but my silence carries meaning." The audience responded with respectful murmurs. The moderator signaled Nera for the next jest. Nera stepped forward again. Her voice was clear. "Your tradition values honor above all, yet here you stand, willing to jest with strangers. You brave this duel. Perhaps the greatest act of courage is to laugh with others." The line landed softly at first, then built into genuine warmth. Several Korvathi delegates exchanged glances, surprised by the compliment hidden in the jest. Next, Aaliyah prepared her final jest before the responses began. She looked directly at the Korvathi side. "I admire your devotion to order." She paused. "If only my laundry matched your data slates, I would never lose a sock again." Laughter rippled through the hall. Even Mavrek allowed a small grin. With the jests concluded, the duel moved to the response phase. Mavrek spoke first. "To laugh with strangers," he said in measured tones, "is indeed brave. I commend your spirit." He paused, then added, "But beware. Bravery without order can become folly." His words drew respectful applause. Nera listened, then responded. "Order is the foundation of peace," she agreed. "But laughter cements the bonds built on that foundation." She bowed slightly, her voice warm. The audience applauded again. Sensing the growing camaraderie, Jax delivered a response to Mavrek's data line. "True," he said with a grin, "yet I would rather misplace a file than misplace a friend." The kindness in his words moved many in the crowd to clap loudly. Mavrek offered his final response to Aaliyah's laundry joke. He paused thoughtfully, then said, "A missing sock may irritate, but a missing comrade is a disaster. Order without compassion fails its purpose." The gentle wisdom in his words earned respectful cheers. With the final responses delivered, the moderator stepped forward. "By skill of jest and response, both sides have honored our rules. This duel ends in friendship, The declaration was met with cheers, applause, and even shouts of approval. Humans and Korvathi delegates rose to their feet, clapping for both teams. Nera and Mavrek met at center stage. They clasped hands, serene green skin against Korvathi armor. Behind them, Alia and Jax joined in a circle. From the audience, delegates stood to cheer, some wiping tears of joy. As the crowd began to disperse, small groups of Korvathi approached Nera and Alia with smiles. They spoke in low tones, asking about human humor and serene traditions. In return, Nera and Alia asked about Korvathi data archives and debate ceremonies. Cameras captured these moments, broadcasting live across the station. Later, in a quieter corridor, Nera turned to Alia. Her eyes glowed with excitement. "We did it," she said softly. "We showed that humor and logic can stand together." Alia smiled, placing her hand on Nera's arm. "And we proved that respect makes every word stronger." Above them, the stars glimmered through the skylight. Inside Helix Point, laughter and logic had woven a new bond, one that promised a brighter future for all three worlds. In the days that followed the Grand Roast Duel, Helix Point buzzed with a festive energy. Holo displays in the corridors showed highlights of the event. Nera's opening jest, Alia's playful laundry quip, and Mavrek's gracious handshake. Everywhere, humans, Serene and Korvathi paused to greet one another with warm smiles and shared laughter. On the station's main plaza, a long table was set for a peace banquet. Soft lanterns hovered above, casting a gentle glow on roasted vegetables, fresh fruit platters, and steaming bowls of spice-infused stew. The Korvathi had insisted on a formal dinner to honor tradition, and the Serene contributed sweet crystalline pastries from their homeworld. Humans added jasmine tea and delicate finger sandwiches. Nera stood beside Alia at the head of the table. She wore a new ceremonial sash in green and silver, woven with symbols of unity. Alia wore her navy uniform, its star emblem polished bright. To their right, Mavrek in dark armor stood with a calm smile. On their left, Commander Ibarra and Ambassador Varek exchanged polite bows. With a soft chime, the moderator's voice echoed, "Let this meal mark the beginning of a lasting bond among our peoples." Glass cups of tea and water were raised. Nera spoke first. "Today we share food and laughter as equals," she said. "We have seen that humor and respect can build bridges stronger than any treaty." A gentle chorus of agreement rose around the table. They sat and began to eat. The Korvathi delegates, once so formal, now passed dishes with careful courtesy. One young Korvathi woman spoke to a human engineer about the subtle seasoning in the stew. A Serene diplomat asked the Korvathi elder how he prepared his datatomes before each meeting. Each conversation moved in friendly curiosity rather than protocol. Halfway through the meal, Alia rose again. She held a scroll tied with a silver ribbon. "On behalf of the United Earth Directorate and the Serene Collective," she said, "we present this Treaty of the Roast." She unfurled the scroll, revealing neat lines of glowing holotext. The treaty stated that future disputes among their worlds could choose to be settled by a roast contest rather than violence. It laid out simple rules. Participants must agree in advance, target only willing themes, maintain respect, and end with a gesture of goodwill. It also called for an annual festival of jests on Helix Point, where envoys could come to practice and learn. Mavrek stepped forward to accept the treaty. He touched the scroll and said, "The Korvathi Union agrees to these terms. We shall use words as both shield and bridge." His voice was calm, but Nera saw something soft in his eyes. He added, "May our future be filled with laughter and unity." They signed the treaty with holopens, each signature glowing in its own color. Green for Serene, blue for humans, and deep red for Korvathi. When the final stroke was made, the scroll's text glowed brighter, then folded into a small crystal cube that hovered above the table. A cheer rose from the table and spread into the plaza as word reached nearby diners. Nera and Alia embraced, Mavrek on either side. Around them, delegates rose to applaud, some shouting friendly jests already prepared for the festival. As the banquet wound down, Nera found herself at a small balcony overlooking the station's docking ring. The stars shone brightly beyond, and the lights of arriving ships winked like friendly eyes. Alia joined her, holding 2 cups of jasmine tea. "You did so well," Alia said, handing a cup to Nera. "You bridged worlds with nothing but words." Nera smiled and wrapped her long fingers around the warm cup. "I learned from the best," she replied. "You taught me respect, timing, and kindness." They sipped in comfortable silence. Below, a group of Serene and Korvathi officers practiced gentle jests, laughing as they tested roast lines about Hollow Garden wilt and data slate shine. A few human children peeked around the corner, eager to learn. Alia watched them and said, "This is only the beginning. Soon each world will send experts to the Festival of Jests. We will share our humor, our stories, and our friendship." Nera's eyes glowed with hope. "And maybe one day laughter will be the first language we speak with new neighbors." Alia laughed softly. "Imagine that. A galaxy where the first question is not about weapons or trade, but about favorite jokes." Nera grinned. "I would welcome that future." They finished their tea and turned back toward the banquet hall, where the last lanterns still drifted above. Around them, joy and curiosity filled the air. In every corner of Helix Point, people spoke in gentle humor rather than guarded protocol. As they walked, Alia reflected on how far they had come, from a single question about roasting enemies to a galaxy-wide tradition of peaceful jests. Nearby, Nera hummed a quiet, serene tune, adapting its melody into a playful rhythm. Alia tapped her foot along in time. Under the vast sky of stars, 2 friends, one human, one alien, led the way toward a new era. One built on the simplest but most powerful tool of all, a well-timed laugh shared in friendship.